Okay, so I wanted to make a tutorial video on how to perform the buffer zip setups for screen wraps in Mega Man 1. Um, what do we mean by a buffer zip setup? Basically, you're going to set a running beam not at a specific height, but within a particular area. It's a very wide area you can be in to set this beam. And then what you will do is continue to hold right, and at a specific point of the screen, you will hold A and B together until the beam hits the wall on the far right edge of the screen. And this will place the beam at the perfect height in order to zip and get the screen wrap. Now, there's 4 places you can do this in the game, at least with this particular setup. Fire zip at the first screen wrap. There's the second ice stage screen wrap, which would typically be done with the bad break setup before this. Or there was another way you could do it using Ice Pixel. Gut stage, there's a screen wrap you can do, and in Wily 1, there's a fast zip you can get to bypass all the flaming hot Cheetos. Anyway, let's take a look at fire stage, and then we can kind of walk through what's happening with the zip. Okay, so we set this beam here, not at a specific height. Hold A and B to buffer the shot. Get the screen wrap. Okay, so the key to this entire thing working is jumping at the right time. So let's take a look at where I am jumping. Okay. So we'll back up a couple frames here, and it looks like just before I jump, the center of Mega Man's sprite is about right at the edge of this. What would be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th? I guess that's a bolt or something in that block. And you see, like, the center of Mega Man's foot is like right over top of that block. So as long as you're pretty close to that area, I'm not sure how much of a window you have to jump on either side of that location, but it seems to be fairly wide. Some others who are in the Mega Man 1 Discord might have information on how wide this window is, but usually if you get within that area of this 5th bolt, you're going to get this zip, okay? So we'll watch it one more time. And just watch where I jump. 5th jump, 5th bolt jump. And there you go. That is the screen location you want to look for the fire zip. Okay? So the next one. See if I can find the location here in the video. Okay, so we're apparently going to do the Wily 1. Okay, so for the Wily 1 zip, it's the same idea, except you have to set 2 pretty long beams to get higher on the screen in order to do this. Okay, so that's where I set my beam, which is fairly high on the screen, but it's still going to work. You can be lower on the screen and still get this zip. And what I look for is the edge of this block right here. And whenever the edge of that block right there touches the left side of the screen, jump. So what does that look like? Okay, let's take a look at how close I got it. No. There's Mega Man still. There he is. Okay, so the edge of the block is just right at the edge there. So when do my feet actually leave the ground? A couple frames after that happens. Okay? But even so, even though maybe I was a little later than I could have been on that, Yeah, I will still get that zip. Let's take a look at that again. Set your first beam. Set your second beam about here. Buffer. Wait. You have to wait maybe about a half second on that beam. I might as well explain that while I'm here. Okay, so when you get onto the zip beam and you're up top here, for most of the game, as soon as you hit that zip beam, you can tap left and zip across the screen. For this, since you're zipping across the screen into a wall, you have to wait for, I think it's like, it's about half a second. If you don't, you'll die immediately. So you have to wait, tap left, and then you'll zip right through the wall. And then on the way out, you just hold up, and you'll catch that ladder. And then you can skip all this nonsense here with more perfect corner jumps and the flaming hot Cheetos. And it shaves a good bit of time off. And it's very dependable. So, I mean, you're immediately going to take several seconds off your Wily 1 and be able to do it consistently. Okay. So where's the next one? I think we got Ice Stage somewhere. There we go. Okay, so first part of this is fairly normal. You want to get over to where the big jug is. And from here, it's just get across the valley here without dying on some long beams. And progressively get yourself up higher on the screen. Okay? And again, we're going to look for a specific part of the screen to buffer the jump. And for me, I like to go just into this little cloud here a little bit. Like you don't press it when Mega Man hits the edge. You want to be into this cloud a very, very small amount and then hit the jump and you'll get that screen wrap. So let's take a look exactly where I was when I made that jump. Okay, so Mega Man's foot is pretty much into the cloud at that point, and that's when I've started buffering that jump a little bit. You can see the beams coming out already. Right about there. That's where the jump location is. That's probably the best visual cue I have for it. You could look at, the center of Mega Man and maybe this dot right here, but I like using Mega Man just entering this cloud right here to buffer the jump, get the screen wrap. Okay, so let's take a look at one more here. We have the Guts buffer. So for this, I like to start this off with an ice pixel and a long beam to kick off the zip. So ice pixel, long beam. You can zip over and hit this area right here and then jump out before that guy hits you. And then it's the same idea as pretty much all the other ones. You want to get yourself higher on the screen. Jump this guy, set this beam here. And where you want to jump, or where I try to jump, is when Mega Man is starting to hit the edge of this girder right here. So let's see what happens. So about right there is where I jump. So Mega Man's foot is pretty much in line with these two rivets right here. So that's something I'll have to look for the next time. You could also look at the spike right down at the bottom, but that's a longer distance to look for. So I try to get something fairly close to here. You could also look at these two bolts right here. Those two rivets or two bolts. they're just about to go off screen, and you can use that as your reference to hit the buffer. Like right when they're leaving the screen, you can hit that. Then again, places the beam at the right spot, you zip, you get the screen wrap. So I hope this helps, and I hope to see a lot of other people implementing these strats into their runs. Good luck, guys.